Hello and welcome to this video where I have a mammoth painting job ahead of me. Yes, it is time to prep and paint these walls, this ceiling, my arms. I'm gonna have arms of steel by the end of this video. You know, oh, you put a hole in it. Yugi, it's only temporary. Yuck. Oh no. Now hands up and let me know in the comment section how many of you have said, oh, I'll do the painting myself to save some pennies when it comes to a project. Yes, I said the same thing. And then as soon, about 10 minutes into painting the ceiling and my arms aching, I says, why? Why? I think we've all been in that position where we're like, okay, I'll do the painting to save some pennies and then instantly regret it. So I have a lot of painting to do. I'm going to be doing the ceiling and all the walls. And if you're new, you can check out the previous renovation videos. But this used to be a room and there was a wall between my kitchen and this room. And I had the internal wall taken down and then the back wall opened up. So you can go back a couple of videos and you can see the demolition process. So all of the plastering has been done. I primed the plaster in the last video. So we are ready to paint. To make my life easier, I'm color drenching the room. So that is a fancy term for painting the ceiling the same color as the walls. You'll see the shade of paint that I'm using. It's a nice, warm, creamy, almost yellow based color. So I said it in a previous video, but if you've missed it, you'll see there's kind of like cool tones to this room. So the kitchen had like a white color, but there was also a gray color. It was actually Benjamin Moore pale oak, but in the room, it just looked very cool toned and grey toned. So my mission for this room is to kill off all of the grey. I've gone through my grey and my greyish phase and I could just never get the tone right in this room. It just felt really cold, and obviously in Ireland, what colour is our sky for most of the year? And obviously at this time of year, clocks changing, days are shorter, so I am going for warmth. So that's just something I've learned from my house, is with the lighting and how it hits the home, I want it to feel warmer and cozier. And it's crazy how a paint colour can make something feel cooler. I was saying in a previous video that I did have a green shade in this room, and a lot of people thought I was going to go for that same green kind of tone, but it actually felt quite cold and a bit dull and dreary. So that is why I'm going for something warmer. Now, if you are painting a large space, some of you might be like, hey, why did you not rent a paint sprayer? So I actually did have a little look to see if I could rent them, because like that, I've rented tools in the past. I think it's a great way, especially if you need something for the weekend. You don't want to invest and spend in buying one. So I could not find anywhere. I found one place that would rent a paint sprayer, and it was €250 to rent this like professional sprayer. And I would have had to drive like an hour away, which isn't too bad. But I was like, oof, €250. Like, my paint budget ain't, and that's before I buy like the 10 litres of paint. I do have a small paint sprayer that I got off Amazon, but it's great for like furniture pieces, or if you're doing your cabinets. When it comes to doing your walls, the reservoir is not that big and it clogs quite quickly. Great for doing small things. I then had a look on adverts in Dundee, and there is loads of secondhand paint sprayers, like professional ones for the wall. But my God, even secondhand ones, have a look yourself. They are a couple of hundred. So I was like, you know what? This is a 2, maybe 3 day project for me. I'm going to get my 8-foot pole, and I'm going to get a 12-inch roller. So I am not using the 9-inch rollers. So you can get 9-inch rollers, you can stick them on a pole, or they'll come on the little handheld roller thingy. yeah, professional term, roller thingy. So I found the 12-inch roller. Now you will have to get a different holder for it, but it's worth the investment. I think I spent about €50 on the pole, the adapter thingy, and then the rollers as well. And a little tip, get good microfiber rollers because you get less paint splatter. So I know it's tempting to be like, oh, I only paint the room once in a while, I'll just get the cheap roller. But you'll find with the cheap foam rollers, you get a lot of paint splatter. And actually, if you look back on my video from this time last year when I did the bedroom upstairs, I was covered in paint splatter. And that's because I used a cheap foam roller. And if you look at this video, as you'll see as I'm going on painting, I'm not that bad at being covered in paint. Like, I'm not drenched in paint. So less paint splatters, microfiber roller. And if you're doing a large space, get the 12-inch roller sleeve. You can get a 15. You can get a 15. It's huge. But yeah, a big roller for the space. And then I simply just cut in where I'm not going to get in perfectly with the roller. And then I just stick it on the wall. So I started off with the ceiling because that's, yeah, when you're painting, top down, when you're tiling, bottom up. And yeah, I just wanted to get the ceiling done. And then I moved on to the walls and it took me forever. And my arms, I had arms of steel. So while paint is drying, I want to share a word from today's video sponsor, which is Craftsy. If you are a regular viewer of the channel, you will have seen Craftsy before, but for anybody who is new and you're like, what? Who is Craftsy? Craftsy is your go-to online resource for all things creative. So whether you're into knitting, painting, baking, crochet, cake decorating, there is something for everyone. There is over 2,000 classes taught by expert instructors. And for me, it's the perfect place to learn, but at your own pace. So I often get asked for recommendations and tips for learning new skills. So I am a jack of all trades, master of none. Finish the phrase for me. Jack of all trades, master of none, but better than... But yes, I will put my hand to anything, and I'm a massive fan of doing classes. And a great way to test the waters with a new skill is to take a class and see if it's something that you might enjoy or pursue. I find autumn is a great time to learn something new because those dark evenings, they just make you want to curl up. So one of the classes that caught my eye this month, and I envision myself being like one of those Edwardian ladies doing some hand embroidery. So there's a beginner's hand embroidery class, and it's by Kat McTee. And this workshop guides you through the basics from fabric and floss selection to hooping up, and teaches 19 stitches along with the techniques for working with letters, numbers and finished garments. And if you're looking for inspiration, Craftsy is not just an online teaching platform, there is a community aspect to it as well. So you can connect with fellow makers, share your ideas and stay inspired with new content being added all of the time. And now for the best part, the first 1,000 of you to click the link in the description and pin to the comments. I'll also pop it on screen as well if you're watching on TV, so you can put this link into your browser. The first 1,000 of you to click the link will get a full year of Craftsy Premium for $1.49. This offer is open to new members only. Do let me know if you have signed up to Craftsy. Maybe you've been on the platform already. I'd love to know, what classes are you doing this autumn winter season? Is there something that you want to learn, like a new skill or something that you want to try and dip your toe in? Let me know in the comment section. And now let's get back into the rest of the video. So I've done this section and it's just been one coat. The coverage is actually quite good, and it's just the areas where there was that bit of grey. So over here might just need a third coat. I did order something to paint behind the radiator, because to take that one off the wall you have to unscrew the pipes. It's a faff. So I have done up to here. So this section, I'm gonna have my lunch and then I'll be able to move over a lot of the like pieces of furniture into this section. But already I'm so glad I went with the colour drenching option, because it feels so much warmer right now. Sorry about the shaky camera. I'm gonna just come back here and the sun hits this, but even on a non-sunny day, and I can't wait to put the new light in. I have new lights here. So yeah, lovely reflection. I went for a mid sheen just because it's a kitchen and mid sheen is usually more wipeable compared to the matte, but I also wanted to kind of bounce the light around, so you can see the light hitting it here and there is a slight sheen. It's not like a gloss or anything like that, or an eggshell, it's just mid sheen finish. So yeah, I do have the sexy plugs and switches to go in, which is why I haven't been too precious with the plugs. I can't wait to get rid of it. Like, look at this, it's been painted over. Yeah, you can see some of the grey is just bleeding through. So anywhere where I had that grey paint colour, although it was only in this section. And also I have to remember, because I hate painting walls, but this used to be a room, so it's taken me an hour and a half, a reluctant hour and a half with painting rage. My arms are killing me just to do one coat, and I was like, oh my god, this is going to take me forever. And then I was like, if it takes forever, so let it be. This used to be a room, so to paint a room in a day, but I just have the whole other section to do. So I'll be able to move everything over. Sorry, that's just my eggs on the pan for lunch. So when I get the second coat, oh, there's me toast. Hang on, I'll be back. Hello. I feel like I'm going to vomit. I woke up with a bit of a tension headache. I was saying in the last video I wasn't feeling too good. Had a bit of a bug cold. I think it's lingering into this week. But I did have a tension headache, which I think is from the tension of anticipation for this painting. But the good news is, I love the colour. I love it. It actually makes the room feel cozier and a bit smaller, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because it is a bit of an open space. But yeah, even as I look in the viewfinder, I'm like, pieces like antiques are gonna look nice against this colour. And when I look at the grey that's in the other corner of the kitchen that I have to paint, but not today. I don't think, the smell of the paint is not helping. I did get like a low VOC, but I think, yeah, I've done one section, 2 coats, perfect. I'm waiting on my radiator thing to arrive. It's out for delivery, but we can use it tomorrow. So I'm just gonna take it section by section. But I do love it, and I'm itching to take down the little window curtain, but I'll end up having to put it back up tomorrow anyway because I have to do the other side. Also, the door company are coming tomorrow. I said in a previous video about it being hinge bound. So the hinges ain't hinging. They were too tight and I was putting stress on the door. Not a lot, but enough that over time it would cause damage. So they're coming out tomorrow to fix that. And yeah, I'm just going to be painting and painting and painting. But yeah, I'm going to after taking some paracetamol, and I'm hoping I'm gonna just sit down for a bit. You know when you get that kind of migraine feeling where you want to puke, and like even looking at your phone is like, ugh. I have that feeling. So maybe I need a nap. Maybe I need a nap. I love it. I love it. I think the things that I have in mind, even for this space, are gonna be a nice contrast against that wall colour. Like a wooden frames that look nice. I did say in a previous video where I was in the planning stages that I was looking for a colour. I called it like a heritage colour. I don't even know what I meant by that, but I meant like it, you know when you watch like period dramas and they have like certain colours on the walls. So there could be like a red, a green, a blue. In some of them there'd just be like this yellow undertone colour. And I feel like that's kind of it, aside from it being yellow. I don't know if that makes any sense. But I was saying like a colour that you see in like period properties is what I meant. I still don't know what I mean, to be honest. Maybe the fumes are actually going to my head. Anyway, okay, I'll be back and we will be fighting fit and doing the next slide. The next side. Listen, if you are like me and you have a big job like this, just keep breaking it up into sections, moment by moment, and like tea break by tea break. When I started this, I was like, I'll do the ceiling, I'll have tea. I'll do the walls, I'll have lunch. I'll do the second coat, I'll take a paracetamol. Okay, ta-da! And it's day 2. I am feeling fresh and it's time to rinse and repeat. I'm going to cut in all of the edges, then we are going to do the ceilings, and then we are going to do the walls. Now I did actually have some builders here today to finish off the steps and a little bit of like detaily work like skirtings and things like that. So I got a bit of footage of me starting the painting. I do find painting videos satisfying to watch, but they're kind of like cleaning videos. I like looking at them and I like seeing the transformation, but I don't like doing it. And also, I'm aware that watching me painting walls may be a bit boring. Some people might find it satisfying and some people might find it boring. Also, there were some great ideas about the beam, because I was saying in a previous video about the beam like doing a faux wood surround on it. And you can also, I've seen online as well, I got like a good old targeted ad on Facebook for faux beams. So you can add extra fake beams to a ceiling. At the moment, I am just getting the bones of this room. So like the colour, a nice warm neutral colour, and then I'll decide on the floor. Some amazing ideas in the comment section. Sometimes it can be a bit overwhelming with all of the suggestions. I do love reading them though, but I've no plans to do anything like that just now, because I have floor decisions to make, which I will chat about the floor dilemma in a few minutes. So yeah, loving hearing your suggestions. I probably won't do all of them, because if I was to do all of the suggestions in the comment section. I think I would have a very random house, but it is nice when you share your ideas, especially like it can be so overwhelming. So if anybody is doing a project at the minute and you're getting a lot of input from people, like in the real world, not just online, I think your friends and family, they just want to help, but sometimes when they give opinions and ask questions like, why didn't you do that? Won't you do this instead? It can be very easy to get swayed. So make sure you stay true to yourself and what you want, because it is your home at the end of the day. People's ideas, they're just opinions. They're not facts or rules that have to be followed. So yeah, stick to your guns and what you want, and then we can add all the detail stuff in time. I did say in previous videos, I'm not rushing this project just to get a YouTube video out and satisfy people. I hope you're enjoying the journey of the process of doing it in the realistic stages. Realistically, renovations are not done overnight or in one video. They do take a bit of time, and I am a bit away from adding pattern and trinkets and curtains. Hello. It was all go there for a minute. Builders came and they finished my step, and the cats are after putting paw prints in it. So hang on. I kept painting, so it's obviously weird to film myself when there's people here who don't know what I do, but I'll turn it around. I'm after getting the first coat, sealing, and like I have a bit up here to do. So I got the first coat. Lovely and warm, looks a bit peachy in the sun, doesn't it? And I got here done. The builder put skirting board on. Now I didn't know, basically I'll talk to you about the flooring in a minute, but at least there is skirting on. They were like, we want to tidy up and finish the job anyway. But I'll talk to you about the floor in a minute, because I was like, oh, you can leave it off because I'll probably have different not different skirting, but it may have to come off for the floor. We'll chat about that in a minute. So I just haven't done the nook. I haven't painted the nook wall because I need to just wipe down the bottom here. So I haven't done that, but I've done 2 coats everywhere else. So let's have a look at the step. So if you come out here, and if you look closely, yep, there's some paw prints. I don't know if there's actually a couple. Now I can stand on the second step because that's dry from the other day. So I don't know if they'll remain, like, will it dry with the paw print? I like it because it's actually the paw prints from Bjug, Bon, as they chased the other cat out. So yeah, I have 2 steps that lead out from here. So I'm like, oh, I can put some pots and plants on these ones. So these are the doors that open out. There's Mr. Bon. There he is. Garden needs a sweep. All in time. So where are we? Yeah, skirting boards here. That looks nice with the wood, doesn't it? Like the colour on the wall. So this has dried out really nice. I'm itching to put the light switches on. I obviously haven't done the hall. The hall can be day 3, and I'm gonna get a new light fitting for here as well. So the hall will have to wait. But I'm gonna do the second coat of paint on this. Like, it looks really warm and cozy with the colour drenching. It's not as kind of, I don't know, the white was making it feel a bit, I don't know the word, but yeah, I just have to actually get up with a small roller and do above the cabinet. So yeah, I'm going to finish that. I've just had my lunch. No headache today. Now, you are resting on the ladder, so I hope you don't fall off, and I hope you're not bunky, or I'm not bunky. Yeah, no headache today, which is good. Bit tired, but I think that's just because I dread doing these painting jobs. Anyway, okay, a quick update on the floor. So I asked my builder, Also, if I'm looking out this way, it's because I'm expecting the guys, actually I better take my phone off silent. I'm expecting the door company as well today to come and fix the doors. There'll definitely be paw prints now. She's attacking the sheet blowing out. Now the flooring, I was saying in the last video about the flooring. So I asked my builder because he was here today and I said, listen, I did have a tiler, but they don't want to do herringbone. They ghosted me. And he was like, okay. He quickly measured out and he double checked my measurements, my AI robot measurements, and he says AI is really bad at maths. Don't get AI to do maths. So I was like, okay, you really have to check my measurements. So it was only a couple of square meters off, but I mean that makes a difference when you're ordering tile. So the area is actually 28 square meters. I had 24. My friend had 24, but he did a proper measurement and he's like, no, it's 28, so you'd probably have to order like 30 square meters. Anyway, he rang the tiler that they use, and he rang him in front of me. I was painting the ceiling. I could hear the conversation as soon as he said herringbone, individual tile, 30 centimeters by 8, I think. He was like, absolutely no way. No. So I was like, oh, damn. So I had my cup of tea and I said, do you know what? And actually someone had said this in the members video, like to reach out to the people who sell the floor and ask them, do they have anybody? So that is what I did. So I messaged them, the company who sell it in Ballymount. And I said, listen, I really want to buy this floor, but I cannot find anyone to lay it for me. It's 30 square meters I'll need laid, or 28. And I don't want to buy it and then I've no one to fit it. Do you have anybody who, would be interested in doing the herringbone floor? And they just replied there. And they said, well, first of all, I said, where are you located? Because obviously they'll find someone in, the area. And then they just replied and said, leave it with me. When an Irish person says, leave it with me, I trust that. I trust that. Now, if an Irish person says, maybe, that's a no. That is a no. We speak English, but we've different meanings for words, or alternative meanings, like a lot of places. So when someone says, leave that with me, I trust that. Because I was up there and I was like, oh, okay, while I'm just having a cup of tea, let's have a look at the alternative floors. I visited, I think, every floor showroom in Ballymount, and I keep going back to this design that I want. And if I can't have it, I'll just have to, I will have to go for plan B. But I don't know. So I was like, oh, another no, another no. I think that is my 4th tiler. Last week I had only asked 2, and I was like, well, 2 have said no. So far, 100% of the tilers I have asked have said no, but that's only been 4 now. So, another one has said no, and now I haven't reached out to. So far the people I have been asking are people who I've used before, or that the builder, the plumber, like recommendations. Because I just wanted to go with their recommendations because I trust them, because I've seen the quality of their work, and so I will just keep you posted. I'll even ask the door fitters. I'll be like, hey, do you know any tilers interested in herringbone floor? Oh, it's like, but then I was just looking on Instagram, and I was looking at like what floor people have in their kitchens, and I'm like, it's nice, but it's not what I want. And then the builder was like, is there a larger option? And I was like, I don't want the larger option. I want the intricate design. He even said if they sold the slab, do you know how if you buy like mosaics, you can buy some backsplashes and they come on the square? He was like, why don't they sell it on the square? and then you only have to do the edges then and you can interlock it in. But no, they don't. So I'll keep you posted about the floor, but I did get another no. And another tip, if you are getting a floor and you want a specific, whether it's parquet or herringbone or chevron or whatever, see if you can have your tiler booked before you order it, because the tile that I want is like non-refundable special order. Of course it is. Of course it is. Because I couldn't just pick a standard, could I? So I'm really lucky that I haven't, because I said to the builder, I was like, I haven't ordered it, and there's a 4-week lead time on it. And I'm kind of glad. I was panicking at first, and I was like, oh God, there's 4 weeks, you know, Tyler, whatever. So I'm going to, like, if he comes back to me and he's like, yeah, I have a fella here who'll do it, I'd even give him a deposit so he doesn't run away at me, and then order the tiles. But yeah, don't order the tiles if they're intricate until you have someone to fit them, because the last thing you want is a big box of them. You could have like $2,000 worth of floor just sitting in boxes waiting to find someone to do it. My builder said everyone seems to be busy at the minute. Great for the tradies. I'm happy for you. But not great if you're trying to get work done. Anyway, like I said in the last video, it's not the end of the world, but I just want to share the reality of the bumps that you come into along the road. It's not the end of the world. The doors are in, they're getting a little repair now. Like, I have heating, I have everything, I have a floor. It's just not the one I envisioned for the minute. Like, not the end of the world. So I'll plough on with the painting, and then I'll let you know what the door fitters say when they come. I actually have a couple of questions. I don't want this section of the video to be too waffly, but I will answer a couple of questions people had about the doors and how they open and security and things like that. So I will do me painting, and then I'll be back to you. Because I now may have to reconsider my flooring choice, I have become obsessed with people's floors. And isn't it funny how you don't notice things when, like, you're not thinking of a floor? All I'm sort of doing when I'm on my walk is looking in people's windows to see what floor have they got? What? Give me some flooring inspiration. So yeah, I have been just looking for inspiration again for the floor, because I had made up my mind and now I'm questioning the practicalities of my choice, and I'm like, maybe there's a reason why it's like no one wants to lay it. But this is what happens when, you know, little hiccups come up, and yeah, you may have to reconsider things. So I've been looking on, even, you know, when you see like house listings online for fancy places, I'm clicking on them to see like what flooring choices they have in the kitchen. So yeah, I may have to go back to the drawing board with the floor, but at least I'm getting the painting done. So that's one less job to do. And then I can move on to sticking up the nice lights that I got and trying to get the last of the dust away. Although I know there's going to be dust for a little bit longer, but it hasn't been too bad in fairness. I'd love to know if you had to maybe change your mind on a flooring. I'm just thinking of all options. I'm not in a hurry because I don't want to make a rushed decision. But yes, have you ever changed your mind on something? Because something I've noticed as well is in a lot of the tile shops, I do have some videos from back in summer when I visited them. There's some stunning flooring and intricate designs, and even like the parquet flooring that I've seen, and these like fancy ways they have them configured in the shops for the display. But I've noticed a disconnect between what is sold in the shops and what can be fitted and who will lay it for you. So most tile shops, so depending, some flooring shops will have fitters. So when I got my carpet done, they have fitters and they do wood flooring, and you can pay extra and then you can use their fitter. But I've noticed with the tile shops, it's kind of like buy the tile and then go and find someone who will lay it and fit it how you want it. Now some tile shops will have recommendations, so they'll have a list of tilers who they can recommend, and then you just reach out to them. But I would kind of like a one-stop shop. If I noticed with a lot of the wood floor providers, they do that kind of service, but I don't particularly want to put real wood flooring into the kitchen because of I do get water on the floor. I have cats who sometimes wee when they're stressed out. If you saw the very first renovation video in this series, you will remember Miss Bug. Don't want to go with the real engineered wood flooring that's really popular at the minute because it is expensive and it will get damaged in my house because it's very high traffic. And also with the doors being open when I'm in the garden and stuff, it is going to be a bit of a high traffic area. And if there's, let's say, a rain shower or something, because that happens in Ireland, and the floor gets wet, real wood is something I ruled out straight away. It's absolutely stunning and I think it would be beautiful in the living room and in the bedrooms, but when it comes to the kitchen, I just ruled that out because I am very hard wearing when it comes to being in the garden a lot of the time and having pets. And yeah, there's a washing machine, there's the water, and if there was ever a leak, which it is likely in a kitchen, it will be ruined. So I've ruled out the wood, but I do think it's stunning, and if you have it, beautiful. And just as I'm about to film, dogs start barking. Yeah, I'm sorry. So I got this gadget, and if you have a radiator where you can't see through like mine where there's bars in it, this would be great. 10 out of 10. Because if you need to go down on the sides, but because I need to, like, you can kind of see. So in order for me to paint behind this radiator, the whole thing, the radiator itself needs to be drained and taken off. Because I asked the plumber the other day, because I wasn't feeling well. And I know that's no excuse, but I really should have painted this before it went on. But anyway, I asked the plumber, I says, if I want to paint behind it, he's like, you have to unscrew it, the valve, and drain it and take it off. And I was like, because then when you stick it back together, I think you have to add water to the boiler or something. I don't know. So my mistake. But this would work if you have a flat radiator. And this would be, this would work. I'll leave a little link to it. I wouldn't say it's amazing, but it definitely would save you having to remove, like behind the toilet or behind the radiator. But if it's a radiator like mine, I don't know what we're going to do. Actually, I'm going to close the door so you don't hear. Okay, that's much better. Bon is peeing in the bush, in the flower bed. Doors. I want to talk about doors. So the loveliest guy from Carlson was here. And my apologies. I'm so easily distracted. Okay, motion in your garden and it's Bon peeing into the bush. Yes, so I had a guy out to check the doors because my builder was like, these feel really tight. He had said the word hinge bound, if that rings a bell with anybody. The guy from Carlson came and he was like, no, this needs time to settle. And I was like, yeah, cool. So, he said, I'll come back to you, but in time when they settle, because he's like, I could start loosening the left-hand side of the door, and then your right-hand side, like I could fiddle with this, but they're so freshly inserted. Like I think it's been 2-3 weeks now since the doors have been installed. And he was like, just wait a few more weeks because it's timber. There's a lot of wood on this. And it all needs to like shrink and expand and settle. And obviously we're going into winter now as well. And also there's heating now in this room. So the inside temperature where all the wood is. So the inside is wood, the outside is aluminium. They're aluclad. So yeah, all of these factors are in play with, because you've got like a natural-ish material with the timber on the inside. So he said, just wait. He's like, we're here at the other end of the phone. Don't worry. We will fix them if anything, if they're still like that. So to me, they just feel a bit tight, and he's like, that's quite normal for them. It's kind of like new shoes. But yeah, the customer service is really good. I don't feel like they're fobbing me off. It was just my builder had flagged it and said that the hinge is a bit tight. So yes. Now I want to talk about the door and the questions. So the doors open outwards, and in fairness, I think there was only about 3 people commented on why do the doors open outwards and not inwards. But I thought it was like a really good question, because it's something that I discussed when I was ordering the doors. It was another decision on the list of decisions to make. So, can you see on camera? Yeah, you can. So these doors are larger than normal. So if you remember my old door, which was here, that was like a buy it off the shelf UPVC standard kind of size door. And these doors have been made custom. I don't know the exact width of this, but I think it's 3.3 meters wide, I think. So it's kind of like it's not too far off your standard sliding door size. Like if you were to get like a sliding door in your kitchen. I think that's what the guy in the showroom said anyway. I just, instead of it being a sliding door, I have it done into traditional style doors. And actually, the guy from Carlson, he asked me, he's like, how come you went with us for your doors? He's like, they look really well. And I said, because you were the only ones who let me customise and make it look old. So even though they're like modern technology with the aluclad and whatever, you let me add in as many bars as I wanted, and you lined up like the bar from the window. Can you, hang on, I'll move that. So if you see the line, this top bar runs the same all the way across to the window. So like there's not like one high, one low. Now there is other window companies. I have mentioned Rationale was one when I was, there was Rationale, Carlson, and there was another one that did custom stuff. I didn't go with Rationale in the end because they still looked a little bit too modern for me, even with their bars and their customer service. They just never got back to me. So I was like, all right. Whereas when I went into Carlson, they were like, yeah, no problem. The guy in the showroom was like, you can have whatever you want and you can customise it, and this is what they would look like. And he got back to me the next day with the quote and the price. So I was happy with that. Why do the doors not open inwards and not outwards? So it's to do, obviously you wouldn't have this with your front door. I think with your front door, you would want, my front door opens in. So the reason why these open out is because if they were to open in, so these two doors are slightly wider. So if they were to open inwards, so like the kitchen table is just here for the minute. Bon is, or Bjug is putting more paws in the thing. And if this door was to, right, how big is it? Right, it's like this big. If this door was to open in, it's like, right, this is really bad measurements, but the door would be basically taking up, I'm going to move you down. So the door would be finishing, it would be opening up like kind of to here. And then times 2, so over there, this is really bad video skills. So basically it would take up an awful lot of floor space if the doors were to open inwards. And let's say I had like, I don't know, a piece of furniture just here. Obviously I'm going to keep this as open and free as I can. But if I had like a chair sitting here, let's say, just here, and the door was opening inwards, it just like cuts off, like let's say someone's sitting here, someone's sitting over there, or whatever. You don't want a big door in their face. So my reasoning was to have as much of my floor space, because I didn't extend, I just reconfigured, so I didn't gain any more floor space. I just removed a wall, like I didn't go out. Now, if you were extending and you had a bigger space, absolutely, you could go inwards. Hang on, I'm just going to close this over because I don't know if you noticed in last week's video as well, I was saying something, and when I was editing back the footage, I could see the black and white cat came in and was eating food from the thing, and I could just see random cats in the background, and I was like, I was oblivious. So I'm closing the door, and it is a bit chillier today, so that is why I went opening out. And there's also an I'm going to call it an anti-wind thingy. There's a latch, so on this one, when they're opened out, you can do this, and it's tight, so the wind won't catch it. Are you coming in? Come on. Are you coming in? Yes, come on. In and out like a fiddler's elbow. Come on. I'm closing the door, so in you go. Sometimes you have to be firm with them. In or out. What was I saying? Yeah. The doors from the company are completely customizable, so you can have them going in if you want. You can have them going out. You can have them bifolding. You can have them sliding. You can make it like customizable. I don't know what the standard is. I think the standard is that they open inwards. My last door did open inwards, and the same thing. Because my kitchen was quite like small when the wall was up, there was my kitchen chair. And when I used to open, I used to have to make sure to keep that area free because the door opened inward, and I'd have a kitchen chair right there, and I used to use it as a doorstop. So yeah, that's why I went for the opening out. And then a question on the hinges, because there was a question on, can't people just snap the hinges because the hinges are outside? So if you look up on like the Carlson website, and it is a question I obviously asked, they're like security hinges, so you can't tamper with them to lift the door off. So they do come with like some, you can look it up if you're interested in that. So there is the hinges, and I like that there's no hinges on the inside. So yeah, the hinges have a security system on them so that they can't be like, you know how with a door in your house that you can tap the thing to get it out and lift the door off, and you can't do that with them. I don't know the technology, but just that was another question. I don't think there's been any other questions about the doors. And one thing I will say is the doors look like their colour now on screen. My SD card has just run out, so I had to delete one file. But what I was saying really quickly before it goes again is, I feel like the doors and the windows and the inside now, the colour is showing how it actually is on camera. Whereas if you watch the last couple of videos when the walls were white, the plaster was obviously grey, and I had the grey cold tone of colour in the room. I feel like now that I have warmed it up in here, we'll do a little zoom. Miss Bugga's on the table. I feel like now they look creamy, because they were looking kind of grey toned. It's mad how the colour that's around you. So yeah, they now look warm and creamy, which is the colour of them. I can't remember. They're actually not cream though if you're in Carlson. I can't remember the name of the colour. I had the little thing here. They're not, are they cream or are they pearl white? One of them was very yellowy, and I think it was the cream. I don't think it's them. Oh, maybe I mentioned it in like the video when the doors came, what colour the inside is. The outside is pebble grey, even though they look green. And the inside, I don't know if they're cream or if they're, I don't know. I'm going to finish today. I've painted all of the inside. I'll turn it around. So we are all ceiling painted. Just have to do around the cabinets up there with a little roller. I do have to do the detail work around here. before my memory card goes again, I finished here. So tomorrow I need to do the hallway. Yeah, I need to do the hallway. So yeah, hopefully that will be tomorrow's job. And it's only been a few hours, but the tile shop hasn't DM'd me back. So I'm hoping, oh, what am I going to do if I can't get the floor that I want? Again, it's not going to be the end of the world. And I know what you're thinking, and you're probably screaming it at the screen. Why don't you tile your own floor? Why don't you tile your own floor? The other day, I looked up YouTube videos on how to do herringbone, and my brain is, when it comes to angles, maths, like, I have mathematical blah. I will cry at a mathematical equation. If I was just putting like square tiles down, I reckon I'd give it a bash. I'm going to do the backsplash, but I ain't going to herringbone the backsplash. Oh no. So I struggle with that. I did watch YouTube videos because I was like, what if I just do it myself? But I was struggling with working out how to do the edges, the corners. Yeah. So I would really like to pay someone to do it. I'm happy enough to paint. Well, not really. I hate painting, but I hate painting walls. Yeah. So this thought has crossed my mind to tile the floor myself, and I have decided against it. But it's still early days. You never know. You never know. I am going to have to start looking at plan B options, but in the meantime, we will hope that I can find a tiler who'll do 30 square metres of herringbone tiny tiles. Now, it is actually the next day. What did I do last night? Oh, I just painted above the cabinets and in the nook, and I put fridge back in the nook. Now, there was something I need to check. I had a little look, but I need to see if the paw prints. So this is, yeah, they have remained. I wasn't sure. So it's been about 24 hours now. They've stayed. So I didn't know if the paw prints were going to dry in, but we do. There is, how many can you count? Definitely 2, 1, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. And you can tell which ones are bjogs because there's like, she has like fluffy paw prints because she's got like fur on her feet. Let me see. There's more over here. Yep. There goes the resale value. I joke. She's not for sale. So obviously there is the option to tile over these. I just got cement steps for the minute. But you could like tile them, paint them, do whatever. I could probably paint in the little paw prints. But yeah, I thought maybe the cement might settle, so you might notice them. You don't really notice them when you're kind of standing up. It's only when you look down, you're like, oh, there's paw prints. Yep, you can see them. Also, these are hang on, I'm going to stand back. The garden is in absolute bits. So yeah, these are the steps then going up. So I went for, there's 2 steps. And then I reckon could get a little plant pot here maybe. Yeah, so I need to move over the parasol thingy into the corner and tidy up out here. But I also need to clean the windows now because with the storm and everything, there's like, you can see the dirt on them. So much for cleaning them. There's a lovely robin singing as well. So nice. I am actually going to leave it there for the video because I realised I have to paint the hall But this video has literally just been me painting walls, and I don't know how engaging that is going to be. So I'm going to get around to changing the light fixtures and the switches just to get all of the, just to get it all in keeping with the rest of the house. So I still have to do a lot in the hallway, and then I have a feeling we may have to go to the floor shop and get some samples and really consider the plan B. Apologies if I look rough. I was out jogging in the park, and this is the get up I go out in. I will see you in the next video. Thanks for sticking with me as usual and enjoying the process. If you want to check out how I ended up here, check out the DIY diary playlist if you want to see the demo, or if you've missed any of the other videos from the past couple of weeks. Cheeky thumbs up, give this video a hype if it's available. I think if you swipe across, you can hype. So where the comment section is, if you scroll across, there's the option to hype. But someone said that if they hype the video, they can't comment. And I was like, oh, okay. So they have to like click out and click back in if they want to leave a comment. Hype is not available on my, like when I watch YouTube, it's not available for me to hype videos. I think it might only be available in like America, Canada, Australia, I think. And maybe the UK, because some people are saying they can hype and I can't hype videos. And I think it's because I'm in Ireland. But anyway, thanks for the love. See you in the next one.